Your 5.3 part 3 lesson goes over partial fraction decomposition. What this all means, without me going through all of your steps, is you are given a fraction. You were finding what that fraction was before it became what was given to you. So you're moving, or you're going backwards with these fractions. In order to do that, you are going to factor your denominator, find out how many parts the denominator has. Every part that's factored is a part. You're going to label them A, B, C if you have more than 2, D, E, whatever. From there, you're going to turn them into new fractions with A over the first part that's factored. Then you'll have plus B over whatever the second part was factored. If you have a third part that's factored, it would be plus C over that third part that's factored. From there, you are going to multiply the denominator that is not in with the A by the A. Then the same thing with B. Whatever the denominator is not in the B's fraction will be multiplied by B, and so on. After that, you multiply them. We're not going to be solving these in the first part here. We're just writing the partial fraction decomposition, so you're not going to need to solve. But when you do solve, you are going to have to actually factor and solve your denominator. From there, you're going to have to plug in order to find your A and your B. Whatever A and B are, they go in on the top of that fraction that you had, that you separated. So I know this makes no sense with not seeing it done. So if we look at the first example, it gives us x plus 7 over x squared minus x minus 6. You're going to factor the denominator first. Your negative 6 has factors of 2 and negative 3 that add up to that negative x. So this is going to factor to be x plus 2 times x minus 3. If you were solving, you would take both the x plus 2 set it equal to 0 and the x minus 3 set it equal to 0 and solve for x. But we're not solving today. We're going to actually just do the partial fraction decomposition of this. So from here, you have two parts, one that's A, one that's B. You're going to rewrite this as two fractions added together. So one that's going to be A over x plus 2, the other one that's B over x minus 3. Your A is not over x minus 3, so you're going to multiply it by x minus 3. B is not over the x plus 2, so you multiply it by x plus 2. Kind of think about when you were solving or simplifying operations with polynomials. Kind of the same thing when you worked with fractions. You got rid of the denominators. Same concept here, but you're going to have A times x minus 3 plus B times x plus 2, and you're going to set this equal to what your numerator was in the beginning, so that's the x plus 7. So this whole thing is your partial fraction decomposition. If we look at some examples, we're writing just the partial fraction decomposition. We are not solving. For A, we have x minus 14 over x minus 2 times x minus 5. This one is factored for you, so you do not have to do that step. Instead, label one of parts A, the other part B. Give yourself your two fractions. This is going to be A over x minus 2 plus B over x minus 5. Your A gets multiplied by the x minus 5. Your B gets multiplied by x minus 2. From here, you're going to have A times x minus 5 plus B times x minus 2 is equal to your numerator, which is x minus 14. For example B, you have 6x plus 14 over x minus 3 times x plus 5. So same thing as example A, your denominator is factored for you, so you don't have to factor your denominator. Instead, realize you have two parts. We'll label them A and B. Give yourself your two fractions. So that's A over x minus 3 plus B over x plus 5. Your A over x minus 3 doesn't have the x plus 5, so multiply A by x plus 5. B over x plus 5 doesn't have the x minus 3, so multiply the B by x minus 3. This is going to leave you with A times x plus 5 plus B times x minus 3 is equal to the numerator that you started with, which is 6x plus 14. For example C, we have x plus 3 over 2x squared minus 6x minus 80. Now this denominator is not factored for us, so we're going to take the 2x squared minus 6x minus 80 and factor out a greatest common factor first. Your greatest common factor is 2, so that gives you 2 times x squared minus 3x minus 40. Your factors of negative 40 that add up to be negative 3 are 5 and negative 8. So this factors to give you 2 times x plus 5 times x minus 8. You have 3 parts here, but that 2 does not have an x with it, so you're not going to count that. Instead, you'll just do a and b with the x plus 5 and the x minus 8. If the 2 had an x attached to it, you'd have an a, b, and a c. But since it doesn't, we're not going to work with it. From here, you have a over x plus 5 plus b over x minus 8. Multiply your a by x minus 8. Multiply b by x plus 5. Set them equal to x plus 3. That gives you a times x minus 8 plus b times x plus 5 is equal to x plus 3. For example, D, you have x squared plus 12x plus 12 over x squared minus 4x. Take the x squared minus 4x, factor it out. You have an x, that's your greatest common factor, so that's x times x minus 4. Again, you have 2 parts, one that's the x, one that's the x minus 4. So you're going to give yourself a over x plus b over x minus 4. A over x does not have the x minus 4, so multiply a by x minus 4. B over x minus 4 doesn't have the x, so multiply it by x. This gives you a times x minus 4 plus b times x is equal to x squared plus 12x plus 12. So the last part of your lesson that we started yesterday goes over solving these partial fraction decomposition problems. These are the first examples that you worked on yesterday, so they're the same exact thing. So with these, you're going to take them a little bit further since it asks you to solve them. Your whole idea with this is to completely backtrack from what's given to you to what it was before it became what's given to you. So from these, you're going to factor your denominator. If it's already factored for you, great. Take each part, set it equal to 0, and solve each part. That gives you what x is. Sometimes you're going to have 2, sometimes you're going to have 3. It depends on what you're factoring out to. You do your fractions where it's a over something plus b over something. And then use your x's to go ahead and plug in to find your values for a and b. Once you have your values for a, b, and sometimes c, you're just plugging them into the fraction, and that's your answer. So it's going to make a lot more sense when I do it. For a, you have x minus 14 over x minus 2 times x minus 5. Your denominator is factored for you, so that means that you have x is equal to 2 and x is equal to 5. We just added the 2 over, added the 5 over once it was set equal to 0. So that gives you 2 parts. You're going to work with a over x minus 2 plus b over x minus 5. If you multiply your a by x minus 5, that's going to give you a times x minus 5. If you multiply the b by x minus 2, that gives you b times x minus 2. We said yesterday that we set that equal to the numerator, which is x minus 14. And now we're going to use what x is equal to plug in one at a time to solve for a and b. Once you get what a and b are, plug it into that blue fraction plus a fraction, the a over x minus 2 plus b over x minus 5. And that'll be your answer. So if we plug the 2 in first, we're going to have a times 2 minus 5 plus b times 2 minus 2 is equal to 2 minus 14. Your 2 minus 5 gives you negative 3 times a. The b times 2 minus 2 is b times 0. Anything times 0 cancels out. So that b disappears, goes away, cancels out. The 2 minus 14 gives you negative 12. So from here, move your -3 over to solve for a, and you get that a is equal to 4. I circle it because I know that at the end, once I find for what b is, I have to plug both of these numbers into that fraction form of the a over x minus 2 plus b over x minus 5. So my next step is to plug in 5 for x and then solve for b. So that's going to give us a times 5 minus 5 plus b times 5 minus 2 is equal to 5 minus 14. Your 5 minus 5 is 0, so that a is going to cancel out. For b times 5 minus 2, that becomes 3b, and then 5 minus 14 gives us -9. Divide each side by the 3, and you get a b of -3. So now you're taking the 4, plugging it in for a, plug in the -3 for b, and that will give you 4 over x minus 2 plus -3 over x minus 5. That's your answer. Let's do this. Put a box around it so you know the difference. For b, you have 6x plus 14 over x minus 3 times x plus 5. Again, our denominator in this one is factored for us, so that means that x is going to equal 3 and x is going to equal -5. That means we have two parts, so that's going to give us a over x minus 3 plus b over x plus 5. Multiply, set it equal to the numerator. That gives you a times x plus 5 plus b times x minus 3 is equal to 6x plus 14. So from here,
you gotta put 3 in, so 3 first, so that'll be a 3 plus 5 plus 3 minus 3 equals 6 times 3 plus 14. So that'll be a 8.
so 8 times a.
And then the b will cancel, the 0 is going to be 0, so it cancels out. And it's going to be equal to 18 plus 14, which is 32.
So 8a is equal to 32.
You would divide a by both sides would be 4. 8 equals 4.
Yes, a
So that,
is 4.
and then we got to go back in, which is -5. So it would be a -5 plus 5 plus b -5 minus 3 equals 6 -5 plus 14. The a cancels out.
Your b is going to multiply by what?
-8.
It's going to give you -30 plus 14, which is what? So -8b is equal to -16. B is equal to +2. So if your a is 4 and your b is 2, what's your fraction form going to be?
A over
What is a?
A is 4 over x minus 3 plus 2 over x plus 5.
Good. So for example C, you are given x plus 3 over 2x squared minus 6x minus 80. For this one, we have to factor the denominator. We're going to factor out the greatest common factor first, so that's going to be 2 times x squared minus 3x minus 40. This then continues to factor to be 2 times x minus 8 times x plus 5. The 2, if you set it equal to 0, it does not give you a solution because it's false. So cancel it out. You're not going to work with it. For the x minus 8, if you set it equal to 0, you get x is equal to 8. Because the 2 doesn't have a variable attached to it, it ends up being 2 is equal to 0, which is a false statement. So because it's a false statement and it does not have a variable attached to it, we're canceling out and we're not working with it because it's not technically a part to anything. So for the x plus 5, if you set it equal to 0 and you solve, you get x is equal to -5. So we have two solutions here, which means when you write your fractions, you're only going to be working with a and b. Because like I said, the 2 is not equal to 0, so we cross it out. We're not working with it. Forget about it. So that's going to give you a over x minus 8 plus b over x plus 5. So that means that you are going to have a times x plus 5 plus b times x minus 8 is equal to your numerator, which is x plus 3. If we start...
Sorry.
You're fine.
Does it ever matter which is A and which is B?
It doesn't matter which one is a and b. If you did like a over x plus 5 plus b over x minus 8, it would still give you the same values for like a and b that need to be there. Okay. So with this, I'm going to plug in the 8 first. So if x is equal to 8, that's going to give us a times 8 plus 5 plus b times 8 minus 8 is equal to 8 plus 3. Your 8 minus 8 is 0, so that b is going to cancel. You're going to have 13a is equal to 11. Divide each side by the 13, you get that a is 11 over 13. From here, you are going to solve for when x is negative 5. So if x is equal to negative 5, that's going to give us a times negative 5 plus b times negative 5 minus 8 is equal to negative 5 plus 3. Your negative 5 plus 5 is 0, so a is going to cancel. Your b gets multiplied by negative 13, and then you have it equal to negative 2. Divide each side by that negative 13, and you get that b is positive 2 over 13. So if your a is 11 over 13 and b is 2 over 13, your fraction that you're going to have is 11 over 13 all over x minus 8 plus 2 over 13 all over x plus 5. I want you to keep it in the fraction within a fraction form. I don't want you to simplify it any further. That's exactly how I want your answer to be if this is a quiz question later on down the road. So like I said, for this one, we changed it to x cubed minus 4x. So this is going to factor, this bottom is going to factor to be x times x squared minus 4. Again, we're just working with the bottom. That then becomes x times x minus 2 times x plus 2, which gives you a over x plus b over x minus 2 plus c over x plus 2. So then this, if you multiply, and you also find what x is, you have x is equal to 0, x is equal to 2, x is equal to negative 2. So if you multiply, you're going to have a times x minus 2 times x plus 2, because both of those denominators are not under a. Then you're going to have plus b times x plus 2 plus c times x minus 2 is equal to the numerator of x squared plus 12x plus 12. So from here, you're going to plug in 0, 2, and negative 2. We're going to start with 0. So if x is equal to 0, that gives you a times 0 minus 2 times 0 plus 2 plus b times 0 plus 2 plus c times 0 plus, minus 2 is equal to 0 squared plus 12 times 0 plus 12. So now this is going to simplify to give you negative 2 times 2, which is negative 4a, plus b times 0, that's going to cancel out b, c times 0, that cancels out c. Your 0 squared cancels, your 12 times 0 cancels. And then this is equal to just the 12. So divide over the negative 4 to get what a is equal to, and you have that a is equal to negative 3. So now you're going to take the 2, plug the 2 in. So that's going to be x is equal to 2, means you're going to have a times 2 minus 2 times 2 plus 2 plus b times 2 plus 2 plus c times 2 minus 2 is equal to 2 squared plus 12 times 2 plus 12. So this whole thing will simplify. Your 2 minus 2 that's multiplied by that a cancels out your a. Your b times 2 is 2b. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 times 2b is 8b. Your c times 2 is 2c. 2 minus 2 is 0, so that cancels out your c. This is equal to 2 squared, which is 4, plus 12 times 2, which is 24, plus 12. This simplifies to give you 8b is equal to 28 plus 12, which is 32. No, it's not. Hold on. It's 40, yes. Thank you. So from here, divide each side by the 8, and that gives you that b is 5. So now the only thing that you have to solve for is c. So use x is equal to negative 2. You're going to have a times negative 2 minus 2 times negative 2 plus 2 plus b times negative 2 times negative 2 plus 2 plus c times negative 2 times negative 2 minus 2 is equal to negative 2 squared plus 12 times negative 2 plus 12. So from here, we're going to simplify. Your negative 2 plus 2 that's being multiplied by that a is 0, so it cancels out a. Again, the negative 2 plus 2 that's multiplying by b is 0, so that cancels out b. For c, you have negative 2 minus 2, which is negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 2 is 8, and c. On the left side, or the right side of that equal sign, you have negative 2 squared, which is 4. The 12 times negative 2 is negative 24, and then that 12 drops down. So you have 8c is equal to negative 20 plus 12, which is negative 8. Divide each side by the 8, and you get that c is negative 1. So you have an a of negative 3, a b of 5, and a c of negative 1. That means when you plug these values in, you're going to have negative 3 over x plus 5 over x minus 2 plus negative 1 over x plus 2 for your answer.